Ladies and gentlemen, boys and girls, what's going on? It is Madara28 back with the Man Cave uploads. Finally made the channel. Finally went ahead and did the thing, and now we're here. This is my review for One Piece chapters 1047 and 1048 respectively. Going to be going through both of those. Not full length, reading page by page, but just talking about things that stuck out to me, things I liked. Some dislikes with both chapters, but overall, I thought they were both pretty decent. Starting off 147 with a beautiful color spread, and so this is one of the first times in a few years that Nico Robin has been the center point of the color spread. It was obviously Oda is a fantastic artist, so shout outs to him. All the Straw Hats are there, even Jinbei finally in the color spread with the crew. And so, yeah, we, get the Momo flashback in the beginning of the chapter. I've told y'all before my dislikes about Momo on the live channel. I want to really like him as a character, but I'm kind of tired of the back and forth with him. It's like in the past, I understood, everything because, for them, it did just happen, even though it's been 20 years in actual time. But for them, it's been only like maybe a month or 2 months at the most since Odin died. But it's like Momo has had so many great character moments, of him, asking Luffy to beat Kaido, of him being brave when Kanjuro took him, even attempting to get away from Kanjuro, which we know led to him getting beat up. Even when Kaido was in front of him, was like, dude, I don't even believe you're Odin's son. Like, for real, bro. If you just tell me you're not, I'll let you live. But he dug deep and girded himself up and yelled in Kaido's face, I am Kozuki Momonosuke. So it was like, okay, cool, we're like here now, right? Even he asked Shinobu to go ahead and age him up so that way he can carry Luffy all the way back up to Onigashima as the Peach Dragon or a Pink Dragon, depending on which translation you read. And so, I'm thinking, okay, this kid has arrived, but then there's times where Oda shrinks him back, kind of like the beginning of the time skip with Usopp. Usopp comes in, seems a lot braver. Then by the end of Punk Hazard, he's all the way back to acting like basic Usopp pre-time skip again, which you have to understand because that's Usopp's end goal is to be a brave warrior of the sea, so he can't be a brave warrior now. But Momo is not the same connotation, and I know people like to bring up his age. Oh, he's only 8 years old. Guys, we're reading the same story that Doflamingo was only 8 years old, and he killed his father, Homing, and he unlocked Conqueror's Haki at only 8 years old. Ace and them in the Ace Sabo and Luffy flashback, they were all young, and they still manned up. Nico Robin was 8 years old when Ohara got blown up, and from that point on, she was on the run. Trafalgar D. Waterlaw, the Island of Flevence, the White Lead Disease, all of that stuff. He went and personally sought out Don Quixote Doflamingo at 8 years old. So it's like all of these characters have, common ground around that same age. Even the Hancock sisters, it's like, it's like, I understand, again, that, he is just 8 years old, but still, man, it's like, you did this pendulum swing and the back and the forth of manning up, shrinking back, manning up, shrinking back. It's just kind of getting tired, it's like, and again, I understand I don't mean to ramble on too much, but still, I like Momo, but times like these, it's kind of annoying. But anyway, let's carry on. We do get that whole flashback, of him, of Kinemon telling him, hey, allow us to fight again, as your retainers, allow us to go against Kaido again in the future, allow us to bring back, an alliance to fight the Beast Pirates, and Momo goes on with it, and they do go ahead and they are sent into the future by Lady Toki's Time Fruit, which, again, I'm so glad Oda made it to where it can only go forward. Right after that, we get the Gomu no Lightning from Luffy. Kaido manages to sidestep it, and then he goes on the onslaught with offensive attacks against Luffy. He talks about how abilities alone are not what you need to rule the world because Haki transcends all, right? And so we know that characters who don't have fruits, you look at Shanks' whole crew, they don't have any fruits. Mihawk is Shanks' rival. Mihawk is actually looking for someone stronger than Shanks to fight in the future. And so it's like, okay, this is what Kaido meant when he said, Haki transcends all, because Roger didn't have a fruit ability. I believe it was, I think they said, according to the Vivi cards, Whitebeard was like 39 or 40 when like he was at the height of his treasured strength. And so it's like, but we do know Oda said that he likes to keep it to where older characters do retain the strength of their youth. And so that's why at certain points in Marineford, when Whitebeard is not having a heart attack, we see this guy stop a boat with just one hand. We see him block John Giant, with one hand on his Bicento, on Skycutter, and so I was like, yeah, they do retain their strength. And so you're like seeing how like someone like Roger is able to compete with a monster like Whitebeard, and Whitebeard didn't become to be known as the world's strongest man until like I think a year before Roger found the One Piece. And so, it's like obviously no one on the Marines could even mess with him anymore, but Roger is still a rival to this guy. So that just speaks to what Kaido says about Haki transcending all. And so we actually get, seeing, again, Kaido put on this onslaught, this like clinic on Luffy. He says one of the attacks is like in the Japanese, it's one of the Wisdom Kings. I think the name is Mio. He says it's the Destroyer of Death, Thunder Bagua, is what he hits Luffy with. And so, it actually does damage, because we see Luffy bleed from the mouth. Before, Luffy was molding himself around Kaido's club, but now he's actually taking physical damage. He loses a tooth, but by the end of the chapter, his teeth are all back anyway. It's like kind of sort of order that Toon Force powers, right? And so Kaido keeps on the onslaught. He first tries to knock Luffy's hand, because when Kaido hits him with Destroyer of Death, Luffy flies all the way up into the air. But Luffy reaches down and grabs Kaido with his, I believe, left hand. And Kaido's trying to get it off. He tries to use the club, and then he turns back into his dragon mode. Luffy's still holding on, and he's hitting Luffy with Dragon Twister Demolition Gust. We know this is the same move that cut off Kiku's arm, and that the other members of the Rooftop 5, sorry about that, I'm at work, that's the company phone. But the other members of the Rooftop 5, Zoro was the only one who actually batted away one of the scythes from the gust, but everybody else on the roof dodged it. Kid just allowed it to hit all of the metal. It wouldn't do anything to him. Right after that, we get the scene of the people sending in the lanterns, asking for different things to live again, for Orochi to like disappear, and for like Kaido to be defeated, things of that nature. He's still hitting Luffy with blast breaths. Then we switch scenes to the live floor of, Hyogoro and the other Yakuza members, the different samurais, talking about, the family. Hio brings up that he believes the island is falling. Some people were like, oh, it's not going to be so bad to die, because the alternative, if Kaido wins, is a lifetime of slavery, versus we could die. But if Luffy wins, we'll all be free. But they all come to the conclusion to believe and bet on Luffy, right? Right after that, we get some scenes with Usopp. We even see Orochi on fire talking about taking out Hiyori. But then obviously the biggest panel that everybody talked about was, by the end of it, Luffy's gigantic fist, which we get the name in the very next chapter in 1048. So let's go ahead and get over to that chapter. I actually have to cut up the two videos, so you'll get the rest of the audio for 1049 after I'm finished re-editing